so you can sit right here. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
Great.
You're good. Nice to meet you. Should we do the Corona?
Yeah, let's do the Corona bump.
How are you doing?
Yeah, great.
That was a great talk. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
I was having fun, so it's not really.
Yeah, it was natural.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it was a really fun talk in general. I have some questions for you, if that's okay.
Please do.
First off, Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Do you play Animal Crossing?
No,
Come on, no.
No, I'm like I love games as a like the voyeuristic approach to games. Like I watch gameplay, but I have no attention span to actually play.
Yeah.
It takes too much effort.
So
I really like all indie weird games, and Animal Crossing for me was more like this kind of cultural weird thing that
also
happened.
like a study, right? Like sort of understanding, because Animal Crossing came right into the COVID world, I guess.
Yeah, and it was almost like, okay, we have this other thing that is not Zoom.
Yeah.
We have like, you can be a weird bunny and, do whatever and, paint your house, because anyway your house is boring. So,
Kind of like what you said with the VR, right? Where like you like more to watch people in VR rather than using it.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, with a lot of the stuff I like about projects is like how, kind of the reactions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And how, especially when this kind of weird awkwardness, when people don't know, is this a serious thing? Is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be dark? And then it's nice as a designer to see like, okay, like, oh wow, this guy is really into being a Roomba. And I was like, no man, it was amazing fun.
That's great. That's great. That's awesome. There was some questions from people. I'd love to know, like one person said, I'd love to know the authors and theories that you're referring. And if you don't want to like say them all, it's fine, because I can post them on the community and they can have links for the people. Because you were talking about the science fiction authors that you read.
Yeah, no. So I think I was talking about a few different things. So for for this whole idea of like how humans and things are the same, there is a lot of interesting writing from Bruno Latour. There is like a French philosopher, really hard to read. It took me many years to digest it. I tried to read it when I was in university as a kind of a self-inflicted pain. But that's an interesting way of looking how the world is all like, whether you're a speed bump, a human, or a garden, you kind of have you have mutual influence. So there is this sort of like network. No, the author I was referring to that I work with is called Bruce Sterling. That is one of he's the father of steampunk with William Gibson.
Yeah.
And he used to live in Torino, in my hometown.
Oh, you're from Torino?
Yeah, I'm from Torino, and so then we met, and I convinced him to write. Actually, the voice in the video, it's him as well.
Oh yeah.
So he's actually the Roomba.
Empty. Yeah, that's interesting.
And the plug is his wife. There is so the plug is, and she's a really like feminist hardcore artist from Serbia.
Nice.
And so the plug is very, Balkan strong, and she says, I am
amazing.
power. And the fan is French instead.
That's really nice. Actually. Yeah, that's really cool. I saw during the footage of the Roomba prototyping that like it was actually in the Fab Lab from Torino, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm from Brazil, and I had some like experience with a Fab Lab as well, and it's really interesting to like see how important it is. I'm gonna call it digital design, but the manufacturing of like laser cut and 3D printing for putting out ideas. So it's kind of like this discussion of like using future technologies to
make future things.
To make future fake things, right? We're like,
yeah, I mean, for me, always like going to Fab Lab or to like Hackerspace has been, because all my projects, even the first thing I show with the toasters, kind of having peer pressure, those are all like kind of, there is a lot of technology in it, even though it's hidden. And sometimes it's weird when you go to Fab Labs or when you go to these places that people want to build things, real things. Yeah. Like, they want to, I want to make this pump for water or whatever. And I'm like, no, wait, I just want to make, it doesn't matter if it should work, but it's not real. And so I always have this weird experience in Fab Labs.
More abstract perspective.
Yeah, so I'm not really into the maker movement, but because I don't, but at the same time I use the tools and I'm happy that they exist.
Yeah, totally.
And otherwise I wouldn't be able to do any of this.
Totally. And for me, it was also interesting to see that one of the prototypes you're using Unity. I work at Unity.
Thank you, thank you, man. thank you, Unity. Please help us for the next project.
Yes, let's keep in touch.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I work at Unity. It was interesting to see that first prototype, and it's for me. I'm just like a personal question.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you use a engine to build to make your ideas come true? Like you said, like I guess it's a technology that people are gonna make like serious games and all these like very serious software. But
what I love about it for me right now is the possibility of making immersive narratives.
Mm-hmm.
So actually the VR objective reality was my first step into saying, okay, you have all these fictional objects, but it's really hard for people to understand.
Yeah.
You know, what is this future? Yes, it's whatever, a toaster, whatever, like a mask. So then I said, okay, if I put people in this fictional future, and VR and Unity in this way was like really useful for that, is okay, then I can make far more immersive narratives. And so actually one of the things I'm working on now is moving my book into small, short...
like gaming narratives?
Yeah, game narratives.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
I mean,
really games. Yeah.
I mean, they could have...
interactive.
They could be interactive, but also that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I love game engine. But when I say I love how it's a game engine, but at the same time you can do anything.
It's been used for so many things nowadays for like interactive expositions or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a great tool. Honestly, for everything, because right now all this like design fiction, speculative design, I feel it's in a loop of, you know, oh, we do these weird artifacts, and you know a lot of people are entering that world like that because that's the archetype of what you do. But so I just wanted to step ahead and say, okay, for me, design fiction artifacts are one thing, but if you really want to get people to understand the situation, you have to, basically you have to, movies are good for that because you are in the context.
Totally.
And the object is not the thing, there is a story.
Yeah, yeah.
And so,
Let me just see if there's no question in the discussion, so I have another question that I was thinking of. Given that you are sort of leading your own company, right? Is there any conflict for you as into like how often do you put, because in Brazil we say put the hand on to work? Like, is there a conflict like managing a company, but you want to do more stuff? Like, I'm just really interested in that.
Well, I mean, managing a company right now for me is basically we are two partners.
Yeah.
One bot and a bunch of collaborators, so it's a very small company.
Yeah.
So you have to be hands-on. I mean, there is no way.
There is no way.
No, I mean, and also that's what I don't like. I used to work in a big company like Frog, and what I didn't like was that at a certain point you need to switch from being a designer to being a manager.
Exactly.
And that's where I quit. I was okay, I don't want to then now just be a manager because it's like, you know, I lose the craft.
Yes. Yeah.
So for me, at the end, you know, the studio we build Oyo, it's gonna be anyway small, hands-on, and I don't like this sort of like idea of having a overhead.
Of course.
And I don't like it because fuck it, it's you know, like I want to be a designer.
You want to create? I mean, I totally get it. I absolutely get it. And sometimes I feel the same way. Whereas like there are opportunities of growth in many ways, but sometimes those growth in our modern society means like you're going to be more of a lead.
Yeah.
Of, like, putting the spaces and.
I mean, it's important to learn how to delegate and work with others, because otherwise you're gonna be like an artist doing your own thing. But even artists now are companies of like if you look at Olaf Aureliusson, it's like 120 people. So even an artist is not an artist such, but is a manager of artists. But I don't know. I also think that's a problem with a lot of design industry now, is that you suddenly have so many roles and people that get detached from design itself, and that's a problem. Because I mean it exists because you need to create an economy of scale, so that more people have jobs, and big clients want to have big structures of studios that make them safe, so that's why you have. But for me, at the end, I personally don't care. I want to push stuff that is weird and it's experimental, and to do that you need to have a small team and you have to fucking work. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's a great insight. That's a great insight. I think we
that's the truth, guys. I'm uncensored.
You're saying the truth. believe him. If it's in the
It's a
internet,
fake.
it's true. Or
Yes,
is it?
But thanks Twitter for telling us that they have a framework. Now
Right.
we are safe.
I thought that was super cool, actually. I thought because Twitter, as big as it is, like it's sometimes hard to have like a stance where like, no, you know what? Actually, quality of the information matters more. So it's pretty cool talk.
Yeah, no, I think it's also such a bad spot to be right now. Like, you're basically, hi, I'm from Twitter, and I'm telling you that, we are solving this, even though it's a problem. So it's a tough spot to be.
It's a tough spot for sure, but
so I
it was
prefer
great.
being on the other side and
You're just like
pointing
hey, I'm
fingers.
learning.
It's like, yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we have 4 minutes left with you. And is there anything that you want to share and like anything extra that couldn't fit in your talk? Because I think you're exclusively for an audience, for a live audience.
Nice.
So anything that you want to share about like your work? I have a question, a
Okay,
really
yeah,
silly
metastasia,
question.
yeah.
Okay, is oio like short for like eyes?
You will never know.
Yeah.
It could be an acronym, it could be not.
But the logo is clearly two eyes with like a little nose, and then you
Yeah.
change like eyebrows.
Yeah, it has a bit of that, but because I think most of the thing we do have this like playful vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too serious, even though it's like real, technology stuff. But it's with I like, honestly, I like fun in technology and things that are not useful, but they are useful in some other way.
Breaking that convention of like tech being so serious.
It's so boring. Like my, if you look at any of my previous work or any other talk, like I really hated for many years the word smart. Because smart is this thing that it's about efficiency. It's about making your life faster, easier, put more things in it. Make this faster so you can do other things. But what is the other thing that you do?
Exactly.
So sometimes I like to, for me, I like to talk about, making not so intelligent things. So things that are not, not that intelligent, but they're interesting.
Yeah.
So like, not doing technology that is for the purpose of efficiency, but doing technology for the purpose of surprise, amusement. And I think that's what's missing a lot and that's what I would like to bring more in technology. Because, the design, I'm Italian, clearly, as anyone will hear. Yeah. But, design in Italy in the past was, the idea that with objects you can actually talk about, culture. You can make things that are weird and they are ironic. And that's, if you look at Sozzas, Castiglioni, like all the Giocolombo, they were designers that were like doing stuff. One of my favorite objects is this Giocolombo glass, which is it's basically a glass for cocktail, but he moved the centerpiece to kind of the stem on the side because he really liked to smoke, drink, and say hi to people at the same time. So then, if you move it on the side, you can actually keep the glass and the cigarette in one hand, and so you can be social. Again, completely non-useful, but like a commentary on
smart.
society.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's what's missing. I think there's, design and technology, and especially UX, is we are a bit too serious and taking ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
So, at least if the world is ending, let's
have a
some
little fun.